Ooh, this was a goodie. Episode 3 of Season 2 of Severance, entitled Who is Alive? Let's just get right up into it. We start out with Cobell waking up in her car in the snow. She turns on the heat and some music and drives off. Next, we see a photo of Gemma followed by Mark's Audi, who is getting ready for work. He pulls up to work, starts his timer on his watch, and runs inside. It seems as if he's timing how long it takes him to get into the office. His innie is now printing out missing flyers with Miss Casey's face on them as he's instructing Dylan on how he and Helly will find the goat man, whom I believe was Petey, and other goat people. Dylan isn't so prompt to get it done as he is caught up in his work, quote unquote. Mark is confident that Lumen will allow them to pursue their search and anything else they want to do. Irv isn't so sure about that, so Mark tells them to be discreet. Helly asks Irv if he's been back there, and I assume she's speaking of back where Bert works. Irv says no, and she tells him that they've got him. I really do just want Irv and Bert together. Okay, let them be together forever. Right now. The way Dylan is acting is making me think that he turned on his day ones for Milkshake in his little offer. Mark coaches Helly on what they'll do if they find Miss Casey. She says she's okay with helping him as they almost shared another kiss. Milkshake's fine ass shows up to work where he notices the balloons he got for Mark. Irv, instead of completing his Mark mission, goes to Dylan to tell him that he's recreated the paintings from his dream. He thinks the hallway could be in the basement of Lumen. He invited Dylan to join him to possibly find this hallway, but Dylan declined, saying that Irv should go for stealth, and he can't explain what the fuck that means. I'm like, what? Then out of nowhere, Ms. Huang's creepy ass appears. She tells Dylan to go with her. Milkshake arrives to his office to see Natalie's weird ass waiting for him, and then, get this, she says that your balloons could use some coffee. Bitch. Creepy. She's got the board on the radio, but apparently she's the only one who can hear them speaking. Just creepy. Milkshake is thankful for his promotion, and the board, via Natalie, says that they want him to feel appreciated. The board has left Milkshake some weird ass, questionable ass paintings. Sidebar, as he's looking at the paintings, Natalie is watching him the same way I do every time he's on screen. I felt like there was something between Milkshake and Natalie, and I'm like, girl, take a step back. God. Next, Cobell is still on the road, parked at Salt's Neck. She has some sort of oxygen mask in her car seat. Someone help me out here with this, okay, and let me know what that was, please. There's a house nearby. She then cracks a U-turn as if she's headed back to Lumen, bitch. Mark and Helly are walking down the hall as they enter what appears to be the goat man's room. There's a mini hallway in there that they decide to crawl through. One of my viewers commented last week that Helly omitted the fact that her Audi is Helena, and now I just got my eye on her. Alright, anyway, they crawl into what seems to be Goatland. Baby goats everywhere with a man dressed as a black goat. Then a woman walks out on defense holding some garden shears, asking if they're there to kill her. Bitch. Just weird. She says the name of the goat land is called Mammalians Nurturable. Irv comes across a room with some paintings. Felicia is there. Remember her? She's adorable. She's very happy to see him. Mark and Helly are talking to the goat lady and show her Miss Casey's photo. Mark isn't convinced that she doesn't know Miss Casey, so refuses to leave, so goat lady rings her Lumen cowbell to signal her crew. They all pull up, ready to defend her. Miss Huang takes Dylan to the security room where we see photos of his Audi and wife. His wife just so happens to be there. Miss Huang's weird ass tells him that because of his good behavior, he's earned an 18-minute visit with his Audi's wife, Gretchen. Seth, aka Milkshake, told Gretchen that this might be weird. Dylan didn't know who the hell Seth was, so asked, and before Gretchen could answer, Miss Huang's weird ass tells Gretchen to refrain from sharing sensitive info. info. Weirdo, just listening to their conversation. Gretchen told Dylan that they have 3 kids and that his Audi has a hard time keeping other jobs. Dylan takes this as his Audi being a fuck up. She shows him a picture of their children. Dylan is clearly ecstatic. Next we see Felicia and Irv laughing and talking about Bert. Felicia confirms that Bert really does like Irv a lot. Irv shows her drawings he did of Irv. She flips to the final page where Irv drew the hallways from his dream and she recognized it right away. She says that they now send someone to take all their shipments there, whereas before they would go themselves. Irv wants to know where it is. Then we see Mark and Helly surrounded by the Goat People girl as Helly shows them Ms. Casey picture asking if they've seen her, but Goat Lady shut it down. Mark tells them all that any of them could come up missing just like Miss Casey did. That was enough to get Goat Lady to admit that she did know Miss Casey. She said that Miss Casey was gentle. All the Goat People apparently recognized her and they were just told that she had retired. Now bitch, get this, before Mark and Helly left, Goat Lady requested to see their bellies. She looks at their bellies to see that they don't have pouches. Next we see Dylan and Gretchen. Their time is up as she tells him that she loves him and is proud of him. Next we see Dylan's Audi at home with Gretchen and the kids. She tells Audi Dylan that her meeting with any Dylan went well. Next we see Natalie with Rickon as she's reading his book. Devin pulls up like, who is this bitch? Natalie mentions Rickon's book making its way to the severed floor and Devin still wants to know how the hell it got there, ho? She doesn't get an answer. Natalie is interested in a book from Rickon, the same book, but specifically for the innies. Devin wants to know why they can't just read the original version. Natalie says there's a certain verbiage where the innies respond more favorably. I'm like, bitch, you are lying. Devin clearly doesn't believe that shit, and neither do I. Devin goes straight to Mark to fill him in. Here is where we find out why Mark was timing himself as he gets out of his car. He and Devin are working on a plan. She tells Mark to be careful. Milkshake's fine ass is about to leave the office as he's staring at the weird ass paintings Lumen gave to him. He packs them up and stores them away. I guess he ain't want to look at them weird ass paintings anymore. Mark is in his car. He and Devin created a light that says who is alive. He wants his innie to see it so that they can know who he referenced that night. Next we see Helly's Audi in the parking lot where she sees Cobell waiting for her. Cobell tells her ass that she'll come back if her needs are accommodated. Those needs are an MDR, non-negotiable. She says that Mark is close to finishing Cold Harbor and that she plans to finish what she started. She says that Milkshake needs to go and that she needs to be the floor manager. Audi Helly says she hears ego and Kier teaches that that only causes pain. Cobell tells her ass that she worked for what she has and that she ain't no goddamn nepo baby throwing shade at Audi Helly. Audi Helly tells her she's doing too much and that they need to reset. She calls Natalie to see if the board is free to talk with her and Cobell, but Cobell wasn't feeling that shit and went to her car and left. Next we see Mark still in his car. He gets a visit from Ragabi. She tells him that burning a message for his innie into his retina is not the way to go. She lets him know that he hasn't thought this through and tells him to let her in the fucking car so they can talk. She pretty much has the full scoop on everything and says that Gemma is alive. Well, where is she? Tell him. She says that she can help him get info in and out of Lumen properly via reintegration. Mark is on board, bitch. He just wants to know. He wants to see his wife. Ragabi connects Mark to a machine as they get to work. She asks him a series of questions, and as they get toward the end, his memory becomes foggy. Girl, next thing you know, he wakes up as his innie. Now, what do you think is going to happen? This is risky. We know that. Ragabi seems to know what she's doing, but who knows? Where is Miss Casey? Okay, and can we please get Irv and Bert together right now? And Milkshake, goddamn, he fine. Fine.